Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the our next anti-malarial drugs. So this is our next topic after antiviral drugs. This is our next topic. What we are going to discuss is about the anti-malarial drugs. So before going discussing about these anti-malarial drugs, so the first important thing what we discuss is about their pathogenesis. So that means we are going to use the drugs to treat this malaria. So that means we need to know something about that malaria. So what is a malaria? What are the symptoms, signs and symptoms which are going to seen, and what is the pathogenesis? What is the pathogenesis? So that means what are the changes that are going to change, the pathological changes with inside our body. So because of that we are experiencing some kind of a fever, all those stuff, chills and everything, sweating. So what are these pathogenesis? What are the changes going to occur? So when we know about this pathogenesis for each and every disease, so basing on this pathogenesis only we can decide the drugs and we can target the pathogenesis pathway. So these drugs can inhibit or destruct that pathogenesis. So here in case of this malarial drugs, so we need to know about that malaria. So what are the things? That means a parasite, these are some the parasites which are going to cause the malaria in human beings. So normally like some kind of a plasmodium species type of parasites are going to be responsible for the cause of this malaria. So through which mode? That means like these plasmodium, these parasites are going to infect the first in mosquitoes. Okay, so in mosquitoes. So these mosquitoes, when they feed upon human beings, we experience some kind of the fever, chills, sweat and everything. So we call it as a malaria. Okay, so these are the things which are going to happen. So that means some kind of a parasite, so which is nothing but these can be these are the some unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms. Okay, so these parasites like nothing but some kind of a species like plasmodium. So plasmodium vivax, ovale, plasmodium falciparum, plasmodium malaria. These are some 4 to 5 different types of the plasmodium species. So when they cause the infection or when they are in the within the mosquito, so and when the mosquito, which is an infected mosquito, is going to feed on human beings because they need some blood, from that they require hemoglobin. Okay, they feed upon the hemoglobin of the blood of our human beings. So when they come upon that, they inject those kind of plasmodium into the human beings so that we can experience these malaria. Okay, so these are the changes we are going to experience. So here we will be discussing in the first class. We just for simplifying the details. So I divide into like three classes. In the first phase, we will be discussing about this malaria cycle. Okay, and next we will be discussing about the pathogenesis. So what are the things happening in the body, the changes, and next the treatment. Okay, so these are the three things we are going to discuss. The first we'll be discussing about the malaria cycle. So that means what is going to happen when a mosquito is going to feed upon the human beings. What is going to happen? That whole pathway we call it as a malaria life cycle. Okay, and next, so upon feeding the human beings, so what are the changes we are going to experience? Okay, so what are the things which are going to be released within the body? So because of that we are going to get some kind of the signs and symptoms for this malaria. So depending on that pathogenesis we go for the treatment. That will be our final one. So first we'll be discussing about the malaria life cycle. Okay, so here in this case we said a mosquito is going to be feed upon the human being, which is an infected one, and the mosquito is the adult female. Okay, that is a female anaphyllus mosquito. Okay, female anaphyllus mosquito. Okay, so this is a mosquito which is responsible for the cause of malaria. That is an adult female anaphyllus mosquito, so which is an infected one. okay, which is a infect. So which is a infected one. So that means it got infected with some kind of parasites. Female Anopheles mosquito, which is an infected one. So that infected mosquito is going to have some sporozoites. Sporozoites. It is going to have sporozoites. So these sporozoites are going to be present within the salivary glands. Salivary glands. Salivary glands of a female Anopheles mosquito is going to have the sporozoites. That means which is an infected mosquito, which is going to be feeding upon the human beings. Okay, when they feed on humans, okay, so what happens? It is going to inject these sporozoites into the human blood, so which are going to be entering into the lungs. So these sporozoites, when they inject into the humans, they get entered into the liver. And in the liver, special like hepatocyte cells. Hepatocyte cells, which are the liver cells. So in the liver, in the hepatocytes. So what happens is, for example, if this is hepatocytes, okay, so these sporozoites, okay, are going to enter into the hepatocytes. Okay, so this is how it is going to be feeding upon the hepatocyte cells of a liver with the sporozoites. For example, this is only one single sporozoite. So within this hepatocyte cell, these sporozoite keep on replicate. Okay, they keep on replicate. Okay, and they form into a some matured one, which we call it as a saison. We call it as a schizont. Okay, so this is a matured one. So this is a hepatocyte, okay, and this is a schizont, which is a matured one, because here we got only one single, for example, if we take it as a one single sporozoite, here we got some multiplication. That means it got some matured and replicated within the hepatocyte cell. This is all the hepatocyte cell. Within the hepatocyte cell only, these sporozoites are going to be get replicated to form an adult one. We call it as a schizont. So this matured saison, it gets ruptured. So from the hepatocytes, it get ruptured, okay, and release its sporozoites. Now we can call them as a merozoites. Okay, even we can call them as a daughter sporozoites. So these are the merozoites. So this whole process, if we take from here, this is going to take place in the liver. Okay, the hepatocytes, which are the liver cells, the first sporozoite is going to feed upon the invade on the hepatocyte. Okay, the whole process is going to take place in the liver. That is a hepatocyte cell, which is a liver cell, and which is next get matured or replicated. This form of hepatocytes, we call it as a schizont. Okay, the matured schizont then keep on mature and they get elongated just like and get ruptured, and which releases its daughter sporozoites. We call them as a merozoites. The whole process is going to take place in the liver. So there are some few parasites like Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium ovale. So they have some special things, like instead of undergoing to the maturation of this hepatocyte cell into the schizont, even they can convert this hepatocyte cell into a another one. So this one just stays there without undergoing any maturation. Okay, we can call it as a hypnozoite. So this is the hypnozoite. So that means some kind of a Plasmodium vivax. Okay, Plasmodium vivax and ovale. Okay, these are some kind of the species of a Plasmodium. So which can convert this hepatocyte cell, okay, into a hypnozoite phase. So where it doesn't undergo any kind of the replication or maturation. So this can stay within the hepatocyte for maybe 1 year to 2 years. Okay, so then it can again come back to its backstage and it can undergo the further replication process. So this is the steps involved in the liver. Okay, so next what happens with this ruptured cells and which is going to release the merozoites. So they just enter into the bloodstream. they enter into the bloodstream. Okay, so in the bloodstream, when they enter inside the bloodstream, for example, these are some capillaries. Okay, so these are the some capillaries, and these are the merocytes and RBC. Okay, so in the RBC, they feed upon the RBCs. Okay, they take over the RBCs, and they feed on RBCs for the hemoglobin content to get undergo some other replication process to get matured. And they choose this RBC is mainly because to hide out from the immune system. So immune system, because these RBCs are also own cells and they cannot fight against the RBC, because these immune cells only fight against some other the foreign invaders only. So whereas here they are just like hiding out inside the RBC so that they cannot fight against these RBC cells. So next they undergo the RBC, they undergo some of the changes. We can call it as a ring stage. We can call it as a ring stage. Okay, that means they undergo some changes. They form some kind of the shapes like amoebic shape or some other different shapes. Okay, during the elongation process and the maturation process. Ring and the matured one, we can call it as a tropozoite. Tropozoite stage, that means a ring stage. Okay, because there are some changes undergoing, some amoebic shape, some different shapes. So this matured and elongated tropozoite, they get again converted to the seiont. This seiont is nothing but a matured one. We call this as a matured one, and it got multiplied and replicated once, seiont. So just like what we have seen here, the matured one in the liver, the seiont, the same thing is going to happen here from the tropozoite phase, that is from the ring stage into the seiont, which is a matured one. So this seiont in the RBC itself, they get ruptured. Okay, they rupture and release more merocytes. Okay, again they release more merocytes. So this tropozoite, this seiont, and next again more merocyte, more daughter cells. So again they keep on feeding the other RBCs. So this is the cycle which is going to happen within the bloodstream or the blood circulation in the capillaries. So because of the rupturing of this RBC, we experience with some kind of the fever, chills, and sweating. Okay, so this is going to happen within the this cycle is going to keep on rotating within the bloodstream. So they release more amount of the merocytes, they feed upon the new RBCs, they invade new RBCs, they take out this hemoglobin content and they feed on them, and they convert into the tropozoite phase in the ring stage. Okay, then from their seiont shape, which is a matured one, then again it going to be get rupture and release more merocytes. So this whole process we going to call it as a asexual cycle. Okay, a sexual cycle. Okay, so there is another cycle which is a sexual one. So what happens is, so from this ring stage, okay, so they form some kind of the male and female, okay, male and female gametocytes. Okay, they form from the tropozoite phase, that is a ring stage. Okay, from the ring stage they form, instead of going to the matured seiont phase, they get form some of the male and female gametocytes. So what happens is, whenever we got bitten by or bite by from another uninfected mosquito, whenever an uninfected mosquito comes and bite us, okay, and they feed upon our RBC, so then these male and female gametocytes are going to enter into the healthy one. They enter into the healthy mosquito, into a healthy mosquito. They get transported, the male and female gametocytes. Okay, so these male and female gametocytes, when they get entered into the healthy mosquito in the stomach, okay, in the stomach, they get converted to the zygote. they get converted to the zygote. So from the ring stage, the male and female gametocytes, they get entered into a healthy mosquito. Whenever we got bite from them, when they are going to feed on the human beings, they get sucked up with this male and female gametocytes. So these gametocytes, when they enter into a stomach of this healthy mosquito, they get converted to the zygote. For example, if we take this male and female Anopheles 1, they get formed into the zygote. So upon maturation of this zygote and the elongation and the maturation, they get formed to the eukaryote. They get converted to the eukaryote. From the zygote, upon the maturation, they get converted to the eukaryote. Even it can convert to the further rupturing of the ready one, oocyte. That is the oocyte. For the ready for replication, ready for rupture. Okay, this is a replication one. They multiply. This is ready for rupture, the oocyte. So this ruptured oocyte is going to release the things from it inside, which are nothing but sporocyte. Okay, so these sporocytes, again the same thing is going to happen from there to the mosquito. Again the same pathway is going to happen here. So this pathway is a sexual one, because it's going to happen in a sexual formation within the mosquito, and the things happen within our bloodstream, we can call it as a asexual one. Okay, these are the two different things to remember, and this thing, whole thing, we can call it as a malarial life cycle. So this is the just overview of the malaria life cycle. If you can look here, the things which are going to happen within the human liver, the hepatocytes, the zygont and merocytes. So the ruptured merocytes are going to enter into the bloodstream. In the bloodstream, they get converted to the tropocyte phase, that is nothing but the ring stage. Okay, some kind of a different type of shapes the RBC is going to make up, like amoebiac shape and all those stuff. So that one get converted to the schizont. Schizont is nothing but a matured one. So once the matured one is getting ready for the rupturing and releases the more amount of the merocytes. So the merocytes again feed upon the new RBCs. Okay, so this is how it is going to circulate. The cycle is going to continue. But where is another some breakage or one converting from the asexual to the sexual one is in the ring stage. When they form this ring structure of the RBC, when they form the male and female gametocytes. So when a uninfected one or the healthy one, okay, uninfectious one or a healthy one, they feed upon on us like human beings who are infected with this malaria. So these gametocytes are going to enter into the healthy one. In the stomach, they get converted to, they form the zygote. The zygote, they can form into the eukaryote, and which is oocyte, which is ready for the rupturing process, and it is finally it is going to release its content, which are nothing but the sporocytes. Okay, so hope you guys understand about this malaria life cycle. So in the next class, we will be discussing about the pathogenesis of the things. That means what are the things which are going to happen when there is all these kind of changes happening in the liver as well as in the bloodstream. So thank you for watching our video, and hope you enjoy this conversation of the malaria life cycle.